guard spot. It's Miller versus Bird. Miller is accounted for points, scoring, rebounding. Bird led him to the national championship. Ralph, the Final Four MVP versus the great scorer, Coco Miller. And Svetlana Abrosimova off the Olympic performance for the Russian national team against one of the best athletes in all of women's college basketball, Diana Tweedy Nolan. I don't think there are 6 finer guards in the country that you could put on the floor at the same time.
There are 10 Kodak All-Americans chosen at the end of the year. It is possible all 6 of these names will be on that list, and a dynamic matchup, and really a big challenge to start off the season for both of these teams who absolutely love this kind of competition early in the year.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a track meet. Both want to go up tempo. Both have firepower from every position. It should be an interesting one.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup. First of all, for head coach Andy Landers in his 22nd season, presented by State Farm Insurance. And it's Kelly Miller and Coco Miller out of Bloomington, Minnesota. Deanna Nolan, Tiana Briggins, and Tawana McDonald. McDonald led the team in rebounding and blocked shots last year. That's her specialty. Has to stay out of foul trouble because they don't have much depth up front. And for head coach Gino Auriemma in his 16th season, the defending national champ, Sue Bird, Shea Ralph, Svetlana Abrosimova outside, Swin Cash, and 6'5" senior Kelly Schumacher. 9 blocks to set a new NCAA championship game record in the finals. And Gino Auriemma's club, the prohibitive preseason favorites to win it again. 201 wins during his career with the Huskies. And Andy Landers over 500 victories. Both of these guys better than 75% win percentage. And it is a packed house here in Hartford.
Some of the more knowledgeable fans in women's college basketball right here in Connecticut. They understand the challenge before their defending national champion.
UConn in their home whites. Georgia in the visiting black uniforms. #1 and #3 to tip off the season.
I think Kelly Miller and Coco Miller, 2 of the most intense performers in the country and 2 of the most emotional, in particular Coco. Both of them have got to manage their emotions to start the ball game.
A lot of experience on both sides, and poise will be a big factor today as Bird tries to thread the needle to Shea Ralph. And Georgia quickly the other way. Tweedy Nolan, short on the shot, gets it back. She'll try again and hits.
You can see early that everybody jacks. Sue Bird, normally so solid with the basketball, forces the pass quickly.
Everybody talks about how do you get back on defense to defend Connecticut, but you've got to be just as good against Georgia in transition. And there's McDonald with a block.
Yeah, she's got outstanding lateral quickness and the ability to close out on those who get by.
Kelly Miller misses on the shot. Abrosimova with the rebound.
McDonald is deceptive inside. When she closes to make a block shot, she looks pretty agile.
Tiana Briggins, primarily a defender, starting to add some more offense to her game. Abrosimova no good. The fans will have to stay on their feet a little longer. Clapping to that first Connecticut bucket. The top 8 players returning for Connecticut from their national championship team last year, and Kelly Miller hits for 2.
Yeah, she can score with a defender in her face, and she actually, it's surprising because of where she breaks her shot from. Bird, solid position. That's just a tough shot.
Ralph to Kelly Schumacher. They were teammates for the U.S. Jones Cup team this past summer. And Schumacher can't handle the pass inside. And let's check in with our 3rd member of our crew, Leah Olson.
All righty. Well, UConn has 5 newcomers on this team, but it's Diana Taurasi that everyone is talking about. The 6-foot freshman could have went anywhere in the country, but she decided to come to UConn because she liked the play of all of the different players. She liked their style. She liked their unselfishness.
Thanks a lot, Leah. Great backdoor cut by Tweedy Nolan, assist to Kelly Miller.
Kelly is an outstanding assist person. She scores, she boards it, but she sees the floor extremely well.
Well, getting back to what Leah was talking about, chemistry so important for this Connecticut team that is essentially a list of All-Americans, and they've got to work to get playing time and try and keep everybody happy as Schumacher gets the first basket for Connecticut. And then the block on the attempt from Coco Miller.
And Schumacher is playing with increased confidence. You know that Connecticut is going to get out and defend you. And if you're Georgia, you're going to look for backdoor situations where you can't, because they're going to get out and deny. And Kelly wisely off penetration. Svetlana, if anyone's going to get beat defensively for Connecticut, you might look to attack her.
You turn your head in this game, and you are toast. And Andy Landers was telling his team in the locker room prior to the game we saw just a moment ago the importance of that transition defense. This is fun to watch, just the coaches, two of the more animated guys on the sideline today. Pick set by Schumacher, frees up Abrosimova, and the foul will be called on the floor. Whistle goes against Coco Miller, her first.
Interesting, both clubs go for backdoor cuts early in this ball game.
Schumacher again using a screen, bothered by McDonald. Tamika Williams with the rebound, and the foul will be called on Briggins.
Here's where the depth of Connecticut gets to you. You sub out Swim Cash, you get Tamika Williams into the ball game, and you don't miss a beat. They are relentless on the backboards.
Boy, they like going into Schumacher early on, and she's established herself. 4 points for Kelly.
A different player late in last season and an increased poise and confidence this year. Played for the Jones Cup team over the summer. An outstanding rebounder on that basketball team, and will really make a difference inside.
Another backdoor cut for Nolan, blocked by Schumacher. Getting it back to Tweedy alone on the baseline.
You got to be patient. You're going to get some block shots for Connecticut. 6'5", great length. Kelly is an outstanding shot blocker. Well, you can't let it impact you. You got to go back, get the ball, and shoot it again.
Nolan's got 6 early on. Abrosimova kicks it out. Shea Ralph with the basketball for the Huskies. Tried to dump it down low, taken away by Georgia. Third turnover by Connecticut, and the Georgia team, Andy Landers, drills it into their heads from day one. You got to play defense if you're going to stay out on the floor for me.
Right idea by Coco. McDonald didn't read it as she did.
Substitution coming on for Georgia. Our first look at Christy Thomas, a 6'5" freshman from Beaufort, Georgia. Now in the middle for the Lady Bulldogs.
We talked about injuries in our first game, Old Dominion versus Penn State. Well, Georgia has had a significant injury as well.
And there's the new player on the court for Connecticut, Asia Jones with the basket.
Those 3 sophomores, Jones, Cash, and Williams, provide such depth in the front court for Connecticut.
And the foul will be an offensive foul charged to Christy Thomas. Andy Landers can't believe it up off the Georgia bench.
You got to get over the top of the flex cut.
There it is. Get over the top of the flex cut. You can't just barrel through it.
8-6 Georgia early on in Hartford.
ESPN and ESPN2, home of the Women's College Basketball Championship.
Their stories are all different, but their passion, their dreams are all the same. That's why State Farm is a proud sponsor of women's sports, because little girls have big dreams too.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific. Monistat, the #1 doctor-recommended brand. Monistat.
In the last week or so has been Shea Ralph, of course, coming over a couple of knee injuries and then revealing recently that she has had a bout with anorexia.
Talked with local reporter Lori Riley about it and talked about the fact that as an athlete early in high school suffered an injury and struggled with the eating disorder, trying not to gain weight. And something that Shea will address in the future and try and make a positive impact on women.
Sue Bird, first bucket for Bird.
She is the consummate point guard, takes her shots when she should. That time nobody picks her up in transition, wisely drains it.
Tied up by Abrosimova. And she may have gotten poked in the eye. Bird reminds me an awful lot of Mo Cheeks, wearing the number 10. Almost carries herself a little like him on the floor, and doesn't necessarily need to say a whole lot to get the job done. She's got the shot, she can pass, she can penetrate.
I like her savvy, her ability to see the floor, the unselfishness, but in doing all of those things, you've got to be a legitimate scoring threat if you want to play at the highest level, and she is that.
11-2 Connecticut run, and the foul will be called before the drive. It's going to go on Ralph. That is her first.
She, along with Ralph and Schumacher, teammates on that USA Jones Cup that brought home gold.
Coco Miller short on the jumper. Rebound put back, no good from Briggins, and hauled out of there by Tamika Williams. Ralph on the run. The feed to Abrosimova.
A heck of a catch. That pass was a little bit long by Bird. Ralph does a great job just to catch it.
5 different Huskies have scored early on. 13-8 Connecticut. The transition defense has let Georgia down the last couple of trips up the floor.
So part of the problem is missed shots. You know, Briggins gets a great look. She misses instead of putting home the bunny. That allows him to get going the other direction. See, if Briggins knocks this bucket down, then they're not out so quickly. Bird, a little bit long, great catch and gather. And then Svetlana, the ability to keep that pivot despite a little bit of pressure. And Georgia now just 1 of 7.
Diana Taurasi into the lineup for Connecticut. Naturally a point guard, but she's going to play all over the court for Connecticut this season.
And she gets time at the 1, 2, and 3 spots to make sure she gets enough minutes.
There's the hand check whistle. Once again, a point of emphasis this year by the officials, that hand check, trying to cut down on some of the physical play. First on Tweedy. Williams, good position inside, and the fadeaway off glass.
That's what you call doing your work early if you're Tamika Williams. On the inbound, she was already working for post position, backing down the defender. You're not allowed to do it when you get the ball. The officials aren't paying such close attention before you receive it.
The lob down low, missed by Thomas, and the foul will be called on the second effort. Williams picks up her first. Husky fans thought it was all ball. Williams, the junior out of Dayton, Ohio, the former high school Naismith Player of the Year. Shea Ralph and Nikisha Sales also with that distinction. Former Huskies, or one former Husky. Ralph obviously still on the team. Andy Landers very high on this freshman, Christy Thomas. Says she has unlimited potential and just needs to discover what the college game intensity level is like.
Now, Georgia saw her early. It wasn't until she won an AAU national title that everybody else kind of stepped up and took notice. But Georgia had done their work early and landed her.
Connecticut enjoying the advantage inside. 12-2 points in the paint for the Huskies early on. See if they go back in there. Taurasi with the back cut. Whistle will be against, I believe they're going to call it for a walk before the pass got away. 4 turnovers. There is the paint numbers. wear you down with that depth.
He asked Andy Landers, what's the challenge? What's the biggest challenge? He said defense. He said they execute as well as anyone in the country. Their cuts are well timed. Every pass has a purpose. Every cut has a purpose.
And you just have to knock down your shots, which they have not done so far. 30% from the floor. Camille Murphy, a junior from Syracuse, checks into the game.
Well, they did the hard part, Beth. They got out of the blocks strong.
And Abrosimova whistled for the foul. And Gino Auriemma, you can just see him waiting to say, don't foul the jump shooter.
Well, Sveta is much improved during the course of her career on defense. She used to draw Gino's ire defensively.
Nolan with 6 points. Shea Ralph comes back on. Ralph, the player of the year last year in the Big East and the preseason choice to win it again. Opportunity for the Huskies to have 3 Kodak All-Americans on their team this year. Nolan gets the second, 7 now for Deanna. Connecticut by 5. First half. First game of the season for Connecticut and Georgia. Number 1 against number 3. Thomas snares the rebound.
Good solid rebound. What you look for in your post players, can they rebound in traffic, particularly in the SEC? Good solid board there by the freshman.
Because you know there's going to be some physical play in the SEC.
Or there will be some traffic in the paint, no question.
5 turnovers for Georgia early on as McDonald threw it away. Andy Landers urging his team to work on D. Asia Jones steps away. Thomas again goes up for the rebound and keeps it up in the air. She's got 4 caroms so far in the first half. Nolan off the dribble. Taurasi may have bothered that shot. Quick outlet again. Abrosimova running with Shea Ralph. And Ralph earns a trip to the free throw line. You will hear that phrase probably more than any during the regular season.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if there's a player more proficient at getting around the bucket and getting contact drawn, I've never seen her. Shea Ralph does not blow you away with any particular basketball skill, but plays with a tremendous amount of heart and smarts.
And she's a very good free throw shooter, and a rare miss there. Sue Bird comes back in. The Huskies won't have any problem keeping fresh legs out on the floor this year.
You know, there was some talk that Shea maybe would go to the WNBA last year, the 5th-year senior, the knee injuries causing her to redshirt. But I talked with Gino over the summer. He said she was committed to playing with what she knew to be an extremely talented group of people.
Nice play by Sue Bird, who tipped it from behind and then was tied up by Asia Jones, and it will go to Connecticut.
Well, after a shaky couple of minutes for Connecticut defensively to start the ball game.
We're doing good. 4 out next time. You see that 1. Let's go.
Well, the goal for everybody early on in the game is to hang around with the Huskies, and a 3 there from Diana Taurasi. First points in a UConn uniform.
Yeah, we watched her just briefly at practice yesterday and today, and folks, she is going to be a player. She already is a player.
Camille Murphy off the mark. Nolan with a nice play to tip it, and Briggins has the layup.
Solid defense. Georgia athletic and long, and they love to get up into you.
Well, Doris, that's almost as good as a 4-point swing when you can take away Connecticut's outlet, because they're almost guaranteed of scoring through the other end. Good start in Hartford, 19-12. Connecticut with the lead over Georgia. The State Farm Tip-Off Classic. The journey begins for the national championship this afternoon in Hartford.
is a proud sponsor of women's basketball. Because little girls have big dreams, too.
It was a big, big weekend. Bummer, big bummer. I'm visiting my sister at college, and I needed a pad. She says, "You're still using pads? Don't they feel like diapers?" Then she gives me a tampon. Playtex Gentle Glide. Major difference.
Nothing protects more comfortably than Playtex Gentle Glide tampons.
I couldn't even feel it.
Playtex adjusts to comfort fit your body. Even the thinnest pads can't do that. Playtex Gentle Glide tampons.
So comfortable you can't even feel them.
Hoops Heroes History. This June, the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame will induct the class of 2001, and you're invited. For the real fans of the game, this is a unique opportunity to be a part of history. Reserve your place and get your ticket today. If you can't be at the hall, bring the hall to you with a commemorative fan pack. A collection of induction weekend mementos you won't want to be without. For ticket and commemorative fan pack orders or additional information on the Hall of Fame, call us at 865-633-9000.
Top-ranked Connecticut with the 7-point lead over third-ranked Georgia at the State Farm Tip-Off Classic here in Hartford, Connecticut. Beth Mowens, Doris Burke, Leah Olson, and Andy Landers working up a sweat early on as the Bulldogs hanging around Connecticut. Just told his team, despite the fact that their shooting is off, just 29%, said, hey, we're all right, we're hanging around, we're doing good.
You certainly don't want to lose your composure. Briggins misses an easy shot inside. You want to keep composed through the droughts.
Spinning to the bucket. Swin Cash draws the foul. She'll go to the line. Foul's going to be on Briggins, and that is her second. Georgia is without the services of probably their top freshman recruit coming in, Ebony Felder, a 6'1" forward out of Jackson, Mississippi, who hurt both of her shoulders lifting weights in the preseason.
Actually dislocated both shoulders, but Felder #9 by some publications coming out of high school. And as solid as Georgia was last year, Beth, the one area Andy said we could get a lot better, or they could get a lot better, was rebounding the basketball. Felder would have helped in that area. And remember, their inside player, McDonald, some hamstring situations early in the year. She had to take out some time. That impacts the development of your freshmen. Thomas in particular, though she's gotten off to a good start here.
Tamiko Washington, number 22, comes on now for Georgia. And a whistle on the foul will go against Shea Ralph. Nope, Taurasi. Shea Ralph. Double three instead of single three. Second on Shea. And now we're going to take a three away, and it'll be on number 3, Diana Taurasi. We got it right. Good pressure out top by Ralph. Georgia will keep it. Coco Miller set to put it in play as Sveta Brosimova comes back on. Kelly Miller hits the jumper.
Yeah, she can make any defender look bad. She's got an outstanding crossover that makes you back off. An excellent mid-range game.
Right back at him the other way as Nikisha Sales looks on. The deuce for Abrosimova.
Real appropriate that she gets the bucket. Abrosimova's got a great shot to take over the all-time scoring mark here if she has an outstanding year. Sales, of course, holds that distinction.
She passed Carrie Bascom, and now Abrosimova with an opportunity to pass Nikisha by. Wow, how about the defense here? Coco Miller, good D by Ralph. Huskies in transition, Bird. Pass intended for Schumacher. It ends up with Sveta, and she gets the deuce.
Now, the one person who hasn't looked particularly sharp to start the ball game is Bird. A couple of passes thrown a little bit with too much on it. Another situation there that turns out okay.
25-14 Connecticut. They look to add to the advantage here. 3-on-2. Bird with Ralph and Abrosimova. Bird coach to coach.
And there's the Sue Bird you're used to. 3-on-1. Nobody stops ball. She wisely takes it to the rim. Job #1, stop basketball in transition.
Huskies have hit 10 of their last 11 shots. They're shooting close to 70% here in the first half. That wouldn't give anybody a chance if they can shoot like that. Coco Miller again stripped from behind by Bird, but then the foul will be called on Connecticut. And that's going to be on Swin Cash, her first. Andy Landers, 600+ wins in his career. Gino Auriemma close to 400.
Transition. What did Andy say in the pregame speech? Get back. They don't stop ball. They pay for it.
Shot is good from Christy Thomas, showing us early on why they really love her future in Athens.
You gotta love her attitude. First collegiate game against the #1 team in the country, and she is not shy.
Whistle away from the ball. It's going to be a hold on Tweety Nolan, and that is her second person. Nolan and Tawana McDonald, part of that female Flint connection. We heard a lot about the Flint men that ended up at Michigan State, and Tweety and Tawana McDonald both played with all those guys growing up in Flint, Michigan.
Tweety burst onto the scene last year. There's McDonald from Flint, but Tweety, a player who's 25 points in that route of Tennessee last year, did a little bit for her name recognition.
Yeah, that really put her on the map. Said she is just starting to tap into her potential, which is a scary proposition for opponents.
She's got to improve that perimeter jump shot. If she can become consistent with that, to go with her athleticism and ability to get to the rim, look out.
Nolan off the dribble, hanging and hitting, fouled by Schumacher.
Although if you can do that with consistency, I'm not sure you need the J. Wow. Yeah, I mean, Connecticut is an outstanding defensive team, and Swin Cash gets up a little bit close on the ball fake, and despite the help, Nolan able to get it down.
Not many people have that gear in their sports car. Nolan blowing by several defenders and then hanging in the air, looking for her 10th point.
Double digits already, and we've got a ways to go here in the half.
She's carrying the load right now. Kelly Miller with 4, Coco Miller scoreless to this point. Very balanced attack for the Huskies. 6 points from Agrosamova leads the way. And now Shea Ralph with 5. The steal at the other end. Tamika Williams.
And that's against a solid shot blocker. What did Williams do? Protect the body, the basketball with her body. That is just a sweet-looking move.
So many weapons. 32-19 Huskies in the first half.
They make it look easy.
Nolan, pass to Murphy, wasn't looking. Now Bird, the crossover. And the pass, an errant one intended for Shea Ralph. Gino Auriemma telling his crew to settle down a little bit. They've got the early advantage over Georgia.
For lunch, dinner, or a late-night snack, Alonzo's Restaurant is a fun, casual place for great food, appetizers, homemade desserts, and more. Enjoy our famous 1-pound or 1.5-pound burgers, fresh dough pizza with regular and unusual toppings, or have a seat at the bar with over 50 kinds of beer and favorite wines and spirits. We also have a private dining room for special events and meetings, and a packaged goods section open every day. Alonzo's Restaurant, 415 West Cold Spring Lane, serving great food 7 days a week. 410-235-3433.
Tate has Daewoo. Tate has Daewoo. #1 throughout the world. Now Tate has Daewoo. And Tate has your best price. Daewoo Lanos. Fully loaded, you pay just $76.99. Daewoo gives you free scheduled maintenance. Lanos, Nubira, Laganza. Tate price starting at $76.99. Affordable cars from the name you trust. Tate Daewoo Glen Burnie at the corner of Ritchie Highway and B&A Boulevard. Now, for Daewoo, nobody has what Tate has.
The Hoop Heads are on the move.
Preseason NIT.
Ooh, how about an Indiana Duke championship game?
I don't know, man.
At 7, Kirk Haston and the Hoosiers look to avenge a tournament rout from the full-court attack of Pepperdine. Then at 9, it's off to Cameron, where Princeton takes on All-American Shane Battier and the Blue Devils.
Wow, real big.
Pepperdine, Indiana at 7, Princeton, Duke at 9. The TiVo preseason NIT, Tuesday on ESPN.
Top-ranked Connecticut starting out their national championship defense with the lead over Georgia, and Shea Ralph working at both ends.
Well, just makes a little cut off a Kelly Schumacher feed, and over 6'4" McDonald, great body control, finds a way always to score over larger defenders. Off the bucket, makes the play defensively. Doesn't kind of strut back after scoring. She gets back, makes the play, which eventually leads to another Connecticut bucket. Williams, nice job inside.
Huskies making a lot of layups and making a lot of shots. 12 of their last 13 they have hit, shooting 72%. And Williams blocked by Nolan. Great defensive play. Now on the other end. Thought about the three. They swing it around the perimeter instead.
Well, after break, Andy Landers had said to his club, let's get a touch or two on the blocks. Gets what he wants there.
And there it is, but McDonald whistled for the offensive foul. And that is her third personal. Well, the team showed great patience. They waited, they worked it inside, and then McDonald whistled for the charge.
Yeah, you like the fact that Tweety Nolan passed up that three-point shot. It's not her strength. It was a wide-open look, but plenty of ticks on the shot clock. So you work for a better look. Unfortunately, it works against her.
Asia Jones. Bird left alone for three. Tamika Williams, two more. She's got 6.
They just keep on coming inside. Williams off to a fast start.
Keisha Brown, number 11, now into the game for Georgia. And the foul will go against Connecticut.
Tough call. They're in a little 2-3 zone here, Connecticut. Switching between the man and the zone.
Gino wanted a traveling violation. Instead, it's the first personal on Sue Bird. Coco Miller.
She and Kelly,
the first time ever, I believe, that sisters won the Sullivan Award, which is the Amateur Athletes of the Year. And she and Kelly winning that honor last year.
And it's an interesting situation for these two. They've been so close. They were a package deal coming out of high school, Kelly and Coco, and for the first time next year in the WNBA will be separated.
Tamika Williams will head to the free throw line as Connecticut continues to pound it inside, particularly now with Tawana McDonald out of the game.
Our twins so often feed off one another. Kelly, the more consistent.
They have made tremendous strides. You remember their freshman year, they showed an awful lot of emotion out there on the floor. They, quite honestly, jacked up a lot of shots that Andy Landers said they have become so much more efficient. And they pick and choose their moments when they get their shots off, and their scoring hasn't fallen off a whole lot, but they have really embraced their teammates much more and welcomed them into the offense, and it's made Georgia so much more of a threat.
In their defense, their freshman year, there wasn't the supporting cast that there is now at Georgia.
Lisa Brown had it knocked loose. Asia Jones comes out with it. Afrosimova in transition. Look at Ralph again establishing herself down on the low block, and Kelly Miller whistled for the foul.
Hey, they're going to get a charge, I believe, on Shea Ralph. Well, it'll be interesting to look at. Sally Bell, a couple of calls in succession against Connecticut. Remember, the post play, as you alluded to before, is a point of emphasis. Now, the offensive player is not allowed to displace the defensive player either. And Kelly a little bit outsized against Shea. And we will take a look from a different angle. See, now Shea is not allowed to displace the defensive player either. And really close call, could have gone either way. I think Sally Bell in that instance made the right call.
Brown misses on the free throw, though, so Georgia can't take advantage.
The foul call on Bird was a different story. I thought that was a travel on Miller.
Backdoor Ralph. Chance for a three-point play.
If you're a young player, and if I'm a coach of a young player, and I say this often about Sue Wicks from the New York Liberty, but Shea Ralph is a player I want my players to watch. Plays the game with a tremendous amount of heart.
Completes the three-point play. Shea now has 8, and a terrific pass there from Asia Jones. I'd want Shea on my team just so I wouldn't have to play against her. She has that kind of intensity and the will to win out there on the floor. Rossi now operating at the point for Connecticut. Boy, they are just having their way down on the low block.
And things coming very easy, and with McDonald in foul trouble with 3, you got to live with what you got.
Still shooting 70% from the floor. Georgia with the response, but quickly the other way. Williams.
You see the pace and the depth, the freshness of Connecticut compared to Georgia. It's the minutes distribution make it a little bit easier for Connecticut to keep coming at you.
Huskies making a lot of 2-foot shots here in the first half. Mass substitutions. Cash, Bird, Schumacher all back in. They join Taurasi and Abrosimova. Camille Murphy comes on for Georgia. She'll be out there with the Millers, Christy Thomas, and Tiana Briggins. And the pass inbounds goes through the legs of Murphy. No backcourt. Says Sally Bell, although it looked like Murphy may have touched it. Kelly Miller, 3 rattles in and out. Sue Bird, no look. Schumacher, catch and stop. Doesn't go. Abrosimova.
Layups and then easy ones off the glass if they do happen to miss.
Tough start for the Lady Dogs. Kelly Miller. Pass knocked out of bounds by Abrosimova.
It talks about Connecticut and their 30-point scoring margin over opponents last year. It's their defense that impresses you. You think there's an opening, and this team closes out in a hurry.
They led the nation last year in field goal percentage shooting, but they also led the nation in field goal percentage shooting defense. They don't give you many easy looks. And the offensive foul will be called on Briggins, and now both interior starters have 3 personal fouls for Andy Lander's club.
Well, he talked about that. He said if there's one thing we've got to avoid during the course of the year, it's going to be foul trouble, in particular up front. We just don't have the supporting cast.
Swin Cash to the free throw line. You'll notice, too, there are no players in that bottom rung on the free throw line ladder. An experimental rule they are trying out here at the Tip-Off Classic to move the lowest person on the line further out so they have more of an advantage rebounding.
Yeah, I think that Dean Smith at North Carolina was the one who initiated that thought. The fact that the way it was set up before and is set up right now, Beth, you don't have great angles to rebound the basketball, and you've got to be so quick to check out, and that puts the defense at a disadvantage. That's not how it should be, so I like this rule.
Tamika Washington back on, feeding Coco Miller. Cold shooting continues for Georgia. Tawana McDonald on the bench with 3 personals.
And it impacts her in a couple of ways. Talk to Andy Landers. He says her hamstrings are tight. It's when she sits that she gets tight. She's sitting because of foul trouble.
She's been limited in the preseason due to a hamstring injury. As Abrosimova hits on the free throw. 9 points now for Svet. Spent the summer with the Russian Olympic team. Into the fall, actually. We're down under in Australia in September for the Olympics. Abrosimova checks out with 10 points, replaced by Morgan Valley. 6-foot freshman from Colchester, Vermont. Morgan Valley and their other freshmen, Ashley Battle, have a chance for 3 consecutive unbeaten seasons. Both of them in their high schools. Their last 2 years, they didn't lose. And possible that they won't succumb this year as well. Certainly, if you're somebody just watching the game, you see number 1 against number 3 with this kind of margin, you wonder, is there that great a spread? Well, perhaps. I think Georgia will get better certainly during the course of the year, but Connecticut's dominant performance in the NCAA title game a year ago. 4 points for Coco Miller. Abrosimova, Bird, and company having their way in the first half. Huskies on top, 47-25.
I'm Dr. Norman Gary, and I'm a bee expert.
All right, B. Dr. Norman Gary will do some pretty outrageous things.
I've been stung probably around 75,000 times.
But would Norm Gary ever get car insurance that didn't come with a State Farm agent?
Car insurance with no State Farm agent? Now that makes me nervous.
For car insurance, be like this State Farm customer.
Enjoy.
And get an agent you can rely on.
Here, have some more.
Plus competitive rates.
Women's Basketball, the premier magazine for this dynamic and fast-growing sport, featuring the stars of the court from the WNBA to the college game to the high school scene. Women's Basketball magazine takes you from front row action to behind the scenes. Get with the game with a subscription to Women's Basketball. Call 1-800-561-2065 to receive 8 issues for just $19. That's over 50% off the newsstand price. Call 1-800-561-2065 to stay on top of the world of women's basketball.
You're getting sleepy. Very sleepy.
Cold symptoms keeping you awake? Get NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can get the sleep you need to feel better medicine. When you have a cold, even small tasks are a big pain. So get DayQuil, the daytime non-drowsy, congested, stuffy head, sore throat, coughing, aching, fever so you can get back your day medicine from the makers of NyQuil.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Leah Olson with a familiar face, the UConn star, former UConn star, Nikisha Sales. Nikisha, tell us what it's like to come in here, see this full house, and to watch your former teammates.
It feels very welcoming. I remember when I was here, and I know it'll never end. The team is better than ever. I know the fans will stay around forever, and I'm just glad to see them all back here.
Talk a little bit about Shea Ralph. What does she bring to this team?
Shea Ralph brings a lot of fire. You know, when I played with her, she was always the one that get everyone pumped up. She was one of those players that continually work hard no matter what's going on. If the team is down or if the team is up, she has the same attitude all the time. So Shea will bring a lot. She's a leader this year, and I know she'll lead this team to another championship, hopefully.
And tell us real quickly what you're doing in the off-season as you are in the WNBA right now.
I'm just out and about, continuing to smile. I'm just trying to stay busy and stay in shape.
All right, thanks a lot, Nikisha. Let's bring it back to you, Beth.
Thank you very much, Leah. And Nikisha?
I don't think Carolyn Peck was looking for that answer.
I'm out working hard in the gym every day, Coach. We saw Carolyn's brother, Michael, one of the assistant coaches at Penn State earlier today. Penn State, a winner in the first game of our doubleheader over Old Dominion. And a big day for Ashley Luke, the new starting point guard, the sophomore for Penn State. 13 points, 13 assists, 7 rebounds.
That'll set Lee Portland's mind at ease, maybe to start this season.
She takes over for Helen Garland, who led the Lady Lions to their first trip to the Final Four. Valley misses on the jumper. Cash the rebound. Valley with the left hand. I'm not sure if that's how they drew that play out, but it's effective.
Well, Valley misses the jump shot, but she sees that they're going to have some numbers here and goes right down to paint, able to use the weak hand and the foul on the right arm.
Kind scorekeeper will give the assist to Ashley Battle on that one. The freshman from Pittsburgh. UConn doubling up Georgia. Primarily because they're doubling them up on their field goal shooting. About 70% to now under 35% for Georgia. Held ball, and the possession arrow will keep it with the Lady Bulldogs. Looking to contend for an SEC championship this year with Tennessee, LSU, Mississippi State all among the preseason favorites.
Connecticut and Tennessee will square off twice again. The home-and-home series started by Gino and Pat last year. How deep this Connecticut squad is. Remember, Kenitra Johnson, who was their first guard off the bench a year ago, is not playing to start the year. She's eligible. There's Kenitra right there. Was a big part of their national championship team, but Gino and his staff at the start of the year have some goals that you've got to meet, both physical in terms of conditioning and academic. And she's where she needs to be from a school perspective, but Gino would like to see her at a different level. And so until further notice, she is not going to be suiting. She's suiting up, but will not play. Which gives you an indication of the kind of depth this team has. I mean, your sixth man a year ago is not playing, and you're up 52-25 on number 3.
Cheering on her teammates, and Swin Cash with her first basket. 9 different Huskies have scored here in the first half.
Well, depth, and they keep on coming. A little high-low situation, and Swin Cash, one dribble, and the length she gets on that, becoming a more polished offensive player.
Cash with 6 points. Kelly and Coco Miller in this first half now. 2 for 11, and the steal by Battle, taking it all the way. How quickly they turn defense into offense. Coco Miller will pull up from 17. Schumacher with the rebound. The outlet to Bird.
It's amazing they can get out and get in passing lanes and get as many steals and still rebound the ball with such efficiency.
Battle for the rebound. Cash down on the floor. Ties up Amy King. UConn will keep it. UConn has attempted 32 shots in this first half, and they have not missed more than 2 in a row yet today.
Led the nation in field goal percentage, as you alluded to, and they are always in the top 2 or 3 there.
Asia Jones back into the game.
It's Schumacher for an interior foul.
Second on Schumacher. Maria Conlon into the game for Connecticut. Six points now for the freshman Christy Thomas, along with 6 rebounds. So a good performance for her in the first half.
The big rig.
The big rig's on. Christina Rigby, the 6'6" senior from Canada, checks in, replacing Schumacher. Just about everybody with an opportunity for Connecticut here in the first half. Coco Miller hits the jumper.
And they've got the firepower. If both Millers start to shoot the basketball well, this is a Georgia team that's capable of coming back.
First basket of the game for Coco after 4 free throws. Backdoor pass picked off. Amy King's got it. Here comes Keisha Brown. And working inside. Nice footwork on the spin move from Christy Thomas. Draws the foul on Rigby. Reminder coming up at the half here at the Hartford Civic Center. Highlights from our opener: Penn State a winner over Old Dominion. The Ravens taking on Tennessee. And Tigers roar on the golf course. All coming up. Sports Center in-game. Dave Revson, Fran Harris in the studio.
Well, the lone bright spot from this half for Andy Landers has been Thomas. Just solid square up in traffic. Ability to get herself to the free throw line.
Closing seconds of the first half, dominated by Connecticut. Nine turnovers in the first half. Murphy goes baseline, look to dish to King. Brown tries to beat the buzzer, will not go. Shea Ralph with 8 points and 3 assists. Sveta Brosimova with 10 to lead the way. All Huskies in the first half. Here's Dave and Fran.
All right, welcome to Sports Center in-game. So UConn all over Georgia at the Hartford Civic Center. Absolutely pummeling in the first half. Dave Revson along with Fran Harris, the former Texas star. And Fran, what happened here?
I mean, we talked about there being parity in women's basketball, but Connecticut is showing that they are far ahead of anybody in this ball game. They really took it to Georgia in the first half. I think the big mistake that Georgia took was that they did not pressure the basketball, and they didn't take it to the hole. When Connecticut was pressuring the passing lanes, they did not go backdoor.
Keep in mind, this is the #3 team in the country, Georgia, and UConn absolutely thrashing them. As for the earlier game, highlights of that one coming up here on Sports Center in-game. Could Penn State do in the Lady Monarchs? Ashley Luke, Courtney Upshaw doing their part.
My name's John Woolard. I rescue alligators for a living.
John Woolard is one.
Sue Bird right down the middle of the Georgia defense. Svetlana, nice distribution to Asia Jones on a weak side. And then Bird, nice little pass to Shuey. Off glass doesn't go, but they boarded it on both ends. Sveta getting the bucket there. Shea Ralph, another outstanding half of basketball. 8 points for her, and just great balance again for Connecticut.
Scoring points like real estate. Location, location, location. Connecticut all about 2 feet away from the bucket. They only took 2 more shots in the first half, but they made 11 more than Georgia did. Georgia in black, Connecticut in white. The Millers, Tiana Briggins, Tawana McDonald, and Tweety Nolan for the Lady Dogs, and McDonald draws the foul. Bird, Ralph, Cash, Schumacher, and Brosimova for Connecticut.
Your perimeter-oriented team didn't get a lot of looks in the post, so what does Andy Landers do coming out first possession of the second half? Gets it in to his All-American candidate, McDonald. Wise choice. Go ahead and get her to the free throw line.
See if they can establish her early. She was in foul trouble in the first half. Both she and Briggins with 3 fouls. They combined for just 2 points inside.
It's an area McDonald has got to continue to get better at, however, because of her size and presence. You see her numbers from a year ago, led them in rebounding, but only 64% from the foul line, Beth. She's going to get there a lot because of her physique.
12 points, 8 boards a game last year. Once again, bothered by a hamstring for most of the preseason. So just getting into form. Look at Cash way up for the rebound and the putback.
Offensive rebounding. Connecticut 5 in the first half. Get one early here.
Tweety Nolan. And the miss and the whistle away from the ball, and I believe it's going to be on McDonald, and if it is, that is number 4. Let's see who they give it to. Looked like they were looking at her direction.
That's exactly who they gave it to.
Worst possible scenario for Georgia. McDonald out with 4 fouls. Just 29 seconds into this second half. Cash, take it herself. The defense left her alone. Christy Thomas.
I read it perfectly.
She's got the rebound. She's played well today. Christy Thomas, the freshman from Beaufort, Georgia, at 6'5". Shoots over Schumacher. I think Kelly got a piece of it. Long outlet. Bird to Abrosimova to Schumacher.
And you get everybody running the floor on offense and defense, and Landers discussed it. Somebody's got to stay with Shuey. There's no reason she blocks a shot on one end, and then it's the first post up the floor on the other.
Good hustle by Schumacher. Coco Miller to Kelly. Connecticut's defense right there. Coco over Schumacher, rounded out. Loose ball comes out to Georgia. And then Nolan tripped up, and Shea Ralph, I believe, has picked up her third. Number 3 on Shea.
Gets out, and their feet, both their left feet, just touch enough to get her off balance.
So a couple of key players with some foul trouble here early in the second half. Diana Taurasi comes on, number 3 for Connecticut, the freshman from Chino, California. The high school player of the year as Kelly Miller hits the 3. First triple of the game for Georgia, now 1 for 8 today.
Connecticut in the zone. Taurasi a little bit slow to get over.
Number 1 and number 3, Tennessee, the second-ranked team in the country. As Abrosimova misses. Duke and Notre Dame round out the top 5 heading into the year. Duke a winner yesterday over a very good LSU team. And they have a terrific group of freshmen coming in for Coach Gal Gestencourse. Athletes the likes of which they haven't seen yet in Durham, and Bird feeds Cash for 2.
Everybody running the floor, but you're right. Coach Gestencourse is an outstanding job at Duke. I think surprised everybody last year. Georgia Schweitzer, the player of the year in the ACC, will not surprise anyone this year.
Kelly Miller, or Coco, excuse me.
Courageous effort by her team after they lost Peppy Brown, their emotional, spiritual leader, to that knee injury.
Elena Beard played for Gino Oriema this summer for the junior national team. And Diana Taurasi for 3. She's got a couple today.
A sweet-looking stroke, and the versatility is what you like. Can go 1, 2, and 3 for you.
Two players with 10 points. 9 different players have scored. And they've got 63 points on the board. And Andy Landers wants to call a timeout. Landers talking with his freshman, Christy Thomas. And we will take a timeout. 16:37 to go. All Huskies.
The 2000 ACC Big Ten Challenge on ESPN and ESPN2.
Great teachers change the world by changing the lives of the students they teach.
Since 1990, State Farm has presented the Good Neighbor Award to over 100 of the nation's most innovative teachers.
Teachers like Mrs. Maureen Spate, here with just a few of the students she's inspired over the years.
State Farm would like to thank teachers everywhere.
Scientific studies have shown that marijuana use can be prevented by taking your kids to this clinic. Get the word on how to share your kids' activities and keep them drug-free. Get the book.
I'm a woman, phenomenal woman.
ESPN presents the phenomenal women of college basketball. 29 regular season games. The Selection Show with Robin Roberts. Exclusive coverage of 30 tournament games, including the NCAA Final Four.
Because I'm a woman. Phenomenal woman. That's me.
The top-ranked UConn Huskies with the advantage over the third-ranked Georgia Lady Bulldogs here at the State Farm Tip-Off Classic. Coinciding with the announcement of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame inductees. The new class will go in next June down in Knoxville at the Hall of Fame. As we kick off another season of college basketball here on ESPN and ESPN2, and there is the class of 2001. And some terrific names from around the world of women's basketball. Van Chancellor is here today. We'll be talking with him shortly. Vivian Stringer on the list. Holly Warlick, the assistant coach at Tennessee. Teresa Grentz, the head coach at Illinois, as Christy Thomas gets 2 more.
Teresa Grentz, who played for Kathy Rush already, a Hall of Fame inductee, now going in herself. We saw her Immaculata teammate, Irini Portland, earlier today as Penn State beat Old Dominion in the first game of our doubleheader. Asia Jones now with 6. 4 minutes gone, second half. Kelly Miller off the mark. Tiana Briggins with the putback. Well, Briggins had taken an earful at the break from Andy Landers. She responds nicely.
Good spin move by Jones, rattles in and out. Christy Thomas again with the rebound. Coco Miller will put it up and hits with just 3 of 11. Struggled early. Crowd getting a bit antsy now. The lead cut to 20. Timeout here in Hartford. Gino Auriemma's club up by 20 over Andy Landers' team.
Working out was not working out. I needed a pad. Meg only had tampons. Playtex Gentle Glide. Wait, is this gonna be comfortable? And Meg says, like pads are, even the thinnest ones feel like a diaper.
Playtex protection adjusts to comfort fit. No pad can do that.
Great move. I couldn't even feel it.
So they're more than invisible. They're completely comfortable. Playtex Gentle Glide tampons.
So comfortable, you can't even feel them. Yeah.
There are times when you have trouble sleeping because you can't stop thinking about the tensions of the day. Try something different. New Aluna Sleep, the herbal supplement that won't knock you out, but relaxes you so you can drift off to sleep naturally. Aluna is not a drug. There are no groggy side effects. It promotes a natural sleep pattern in just a few nights. New Aluna. It doesn't make you sleep. It lets you sleep.
Hoops Heroes History. This June, the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame will induct the class of 2001, and you're invited. For the real fans of the game, this is a unique opportunity to be a part of history. Reserve your place and get your ticket today. If you can't be at the hall, bring the hall to you with a commemorative fan pack. A collection of induction weekend mementos you won't want to be without. For ticket and commemorative fan pack orders or additional information on the Hall of Fame, call us at 865-633-9000.
65-45, top-ranked Connecticut with the lead over number 3 Georgia at the State Farm Tip-Off Classic. Beth Mullins, Doris Burke, along with Leah Olson here at the Hartford Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut. The journey begins today. The quest for the national championship now underway. The defending national champion UConn Huskies favored to get back to St. Louis to win it all, but Georgia, Tennessee, Duke, Purdue, all among those that will be giving chase this year. And we saw a fine performance from Penn State this afternoon that should put them in the picture as well. Svetlana Brosimova had it knocked loose. And then Tweety Nolan whistled for the reach.
There's some variation in the polls. You've got a lot of teams ranked different Penn State 10th in one poll, 13th in another. Old Dominion. I think there's some uncertainty as to who will really lock down those spots after 4, 5, and 6.
That is the 4th personal on Tweety Nolan, so 2 starters for Georgia now out of the game with 4 personals. Tawana McDonald also over on the bench.
Virtually every poll in the country and every preseason publication said Georgia, Tennessee, UConn in the top 3. UConn obviously #1 in everybody's.
Crowd wanted to walk on Kelly Miller on top. Camille Murphy now into the game. Kelly Miller, tough shot, falling away on the baseline, and she hits it.
Very tough shot. At least she's going to turn to her right, so it's a little bit easier for a right-handed shooter, but to get square while moving is tough to do.
Connecticut responds. Samika Williams with 10. 3rd Husky into double digits. And the whistle will go against UConn. There is the ESPN USA Today preseason coaches poll, the top 10. And it's a good one. 3 teams from the Big East in there, 3 teams from the SEC, a couple of teams from the Big Ten.
You think about Notre Dame, you think about Ruth Riley, a tremendous center, great size, excellent touch around the bucket, career 60% field goal. But I think the play of Niele Ivey at the point really made the difference a year ago and will make the difference again this year. You've got the shooter in Rattay to keep the balance inside out, but Ivey's got to pull it together.
Nice backdoor cut. Ralph to Abrosimova.
One of the things you look at when you think about UConn is how many uncontested shots do they get and why it all comes from the cuts and the screens out of their sets.
So impressed with how well all of them see the court and find each other out there.
The one thing you've got to do against UConn at the minimum is have great ball pressure. You've got to make it tough for them to see passing lanes.
Abrosimova to Ralph, changes direction, loses the ball, but the foul will be called on the reach. Going to go against the freshman, Christy Thomas.
Georgia bails her out there. Shea was going nowhere. There was a host of black jerseys in the paint.
Amy King coming back on for Georgia, replacing Thomas. Jones trying to feed it in to Shea Ralph, and the foul will be on Georgia. And let's check in with Leah Olson.
All right, thanks a lot. I'm here with Van Chancellor, head coach of the Houston Comets, 4-time world champions. Van, with all the success you've had in women's basketball, you've now been inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. What does that mean to you?
It means all in the world to me, because I was totally shocked. When I got the announcement, I looked at it 3 times. I said, I just cannot believe this. I said, maybe if I was 75 years old, I might have made it, but it's such an honor for me personally.
What does it mean to you when you see a huge crowd like this at this arena for women's basketball? You've been involved in so many years, and you've seen the really small crowds.
Yeah, I started out coaching when you drew 50 people to come to Connecticut and see not only a great crowd here today, but how enthusiastic it is. They wasn't going to sit down until Connecticut scored, and when they did, it was unbelievable, the noise and the support this state has for women's basketball here in Connecticut.
And give us a little insight on the Houston Comets. Now, is Cooper going to retire?
You know, I don't know. I hope she doesn't, because I'll be a better coach if she doesn't. But right now, that's going to be Cynthia's call. And if she does retire, we got to adjust. If she doesn't retire, we'll have somebody make all those last-second shots. And, you know, she's just a great player and a wonderful individual.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for your time, and thanks for all of your help in women's basketball.
Well, just thanks. I'm just so honored to be here today.
All right, let's take it back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Leah, and congratulations to Coach Chancellor. Those coaches always the first to give credit to the talent on their teams, but for coaches like Van, he's got a little something to do with their success as well.
Yeah, I think people underestimated his ability a year ago. I will never again question his ability with the personnel to go ahead and get championships. And Cynthia Cooper, after taking a lot of criticism during the WNBA season, was huge in the championship series.
Second on Abrosimova. Murphy looking for some space. And Kelly Miller, the whistle against Bird, reaching around from behind. Kelly Miller hits the shot. Kelly now into double digits with 11 points. Matching Coco for the team lead today. Nolan has 10, so 3 in double figures. Thomas able to knock it loose, and Connecticut will keep it.
Georgia opens up with the #1 team in the country, and they'll play in the always tough SEC, and their non-conference schedule is incredible. They'll play Oklahoma in the Coaches versus Cancer, and then whoever comes out of the Notre Dame-Wisconsin game, they'll play Rutgers at UCLA, Illinois. I mean, they have got a very tough road to hoe still.
They will be battle-tested come March, which both these coaches know that's the time to be winning. A timeout with 11:50 to go. Connecticut maintaining a 20-point lead. Double digits for Abrosimova, Cash, Tamika Williams. And the Huskies are rolling along.
You can have the kitchen you've always dreamed of at a price to fit your budget by calling Century 21 Home Improvements today. Reface your old kitchen at a fraction of the cost of custom kitchen remodeling. Your existing framework is left intact and covered with Easy Care laminate. We replace the doors, drawers, hardware, and countertops.
Call now during our half-price special. Buy direct from the manufacturer and save 50%. No money down and payments as low as $79 a month.
G&E Contractors, proudly serving Maryland since 1948. G&E Contractors has earned a superior reputation for delivering top-quality work to highly satisfied customers. We specialize in kitchens, bathrooms, sunrooms, club basements, decks, patios, room additions, windows, roofing, and much more. So let the Home Doctor take care of all your remodeling needs. G&E Contractors. Call 410-254-9300. Visit our showroom at 4319 Harford Road or log on to our website at www.gecontractors.com.
A tale of suspense in Buffalo. The irresistible force of Dallas, Mike Modano and Brett Hull.
Modano in.
Against the immovable object of the Sabres, Dominic Hasek. Every game has a story. Stars, Sabres, Wednesday at 8 on ESPN.
College Football Thursday.
It's Wyoming, Colorado State. What a matchup. These two teams don't like each other.
It all starts with college football tonight at 7:30. Wyoming versus Colorado State at 8, Thursday on ESPN.
Connecticut by 20, second half of the State Farm Tip-Off Classic. Well, Gino Auriemma has guided this team through some tough times early on and then on to 2 national championships. So what happens when you do finally get to the top?
Is it going to be hard to maintain it? I think it is. There's more people than ever out there recruiting. There's more good players than ever. More programs are committed to winning than ever. Yeah, the stress, you know, that somebody told me one time, the only thing worse than losing is winning.
And make no mistake, this is a Connecticut program that had not had a winning season prior to his arrival. And his winning percentage incredible. Almost 80% or 80% of his games win.
Used to play over at the old Stores Fieldhouse, and it was only parents and boyfriends in the stands, and it wasn't ever a hard time to get a ticket, and now it's one of the toughest tickets in town.
You could tell early, however, that he was going to turn things around. As a player at Providence when he took over, Beth, and his teams are always well coached.
Taurasi tried to hook up with Abrosimova, goes back to Georgia. Boy, she has been impressive just watching her in practice and watching her last year in the high school All-America game, a different presence out there as a freshman. Not playing that way at all. Kelly Miller gets a screen from Thomas short on the shot, follows it up. Thomas battling for the loose ball and puts it up and in.
Gotta like the effort. She's been solid. She's made some mistakes. Defensively, hasn't been where he's wanted her to be all afternoon, but pretty solid game coming in against the first #1 team in the country, Beth, no question.
13 points for Christy Thomas in her debut. And another rebound. Kelly Miller hits. Christy Thomas with the double-double today. 13 points, 11 rebounds, and Georgia trying to creep back into it.
Well, if you're Andy Landers in Georgia, you take it 5 minutes at a time. You set the goal to be at 15 under one break, and then at 10 at the next.
Landers takes a peek up at the clock as Shea Ralph gets set to come back in. Bulldogs have scored the last 6 points and have held the Huskies in check for the last 3.5 minutes. Swing cash inside to Ralph, spinning into the paint.
So many times you relax. If you're guarding the inbound, you relax. That's exactly what Nolan does. The entry pass, and Shea sneaks right into the post.
4 now into double figures for Connecticut. Bird saves it. Looking for an opening. They'll reset. Abrosimova. Nice to the hoop. Comes out to Keisha Brown. Brown's going to take it all the way and goes to the left hand.
Yeah, it's been an odyssey for Keisha Brown. Remember, she and Shea Ralph, when they were coming out of high school, split the National Player of the Year for high school. Both started out like a house of fire and then injured their knee. Keisha's injury coming earlier in her freshman year and Shea's during the NCAAs, but you see the different paths they've worn. Shea's been able to make it all the way back.
They both ended up re-injuring the knees as well. And Brown still playing with the brace. Bird with the miss, rebound Georgia.
You get the sense in watching Connecticut play, there are times where Sue Bird is calling the plays a little bit more often. And last year they would seem to be a little bit more direction from the sideline.
Coco Miller goes around Bird, lays it off to King. Good. Georgia making some noise. Timeout called by Andy Landers. .8:54 to go in our game. ESPN Sunday Night Football comes your way tonight at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. From the AFC East, the Jets and the Colts, led by none other than Peyton Manning. Starts out with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern. And then tomorrow night, Monday Night Football on ABC at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. The Oakland Raiders and the Denver Broncos from the AFC West. And showdown at Mile High on Monday Night Football. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive home for primetime NFL football.
The New York Jets have made a living this season, coming back from deficits. Last 2 weeks, however, it has been a
yes. Shea Ralph trying to get the Huskies fired up. They've hit a bit of a lull here midway through the second half, and Georgia trying to get back into it and get the deficit under 10. Shea Ralph. Bird to Cash. Back to Ralph in traffic. Shot clock under 10. Bird's going to have to launch. Rebound to Georgia.
Good patience. Connecticut showed it on the opposite end, but Georgia needs to make something happen here.
King leaving her alone. And she hits it.
Both folks, this is a walk-on who joined the club last year when Georgia had some injury issues, and she has stepped up and played poised.
Closest they've been in an awful long time at 30-19. Abrosimova for three.
You expect your seniors to hit big shots.
Now for Abrosimova, the senior. Thomas from the elbow, good. Georgia heating up.
Yeah, she looks poised, Bev. Does a nice job making a ball side cut, makes herself available to Keisha Brown. And there's a relaxed nature to this Georgia team right now.
Abrosimova fouled. Christy Thomas, 15 points, 11 rebounds in her collegiate debut on national television at the top-ranked team in the country. An impressive start and helping Georgia making their last 6 field goals.
Yeah, he's a player who dominated in high school, and most players at this level do, but 9 triple-doubles, 4 quadruple-doubles in high school.
16 now for Svet.
And look at that all-around game. There's been a lot of speculation because of her Olympic commitments this year. Would she fatigue? She said, I'm 21. It's not like I'm 28 or 29. I said, like, that's so old, Sveta.
15-point advantage for top-ranked Connecticut. 7:14 to play in Hartford.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific. Monistat, the #1 doctor-recommended brand. Monistat.
I may look young, but I still suffer from hot flashes. I discovered a natural way to deal with it. Healthy Woman, from the makers of Monistat. Healthy Woman's a soy menopause supplement that helps relieve hot flashes and night sweats. Healthy Woman.
When I go, I go. I get in the zone and everything gets left behind, especially my old antiperspirant. It never kept me dry, but this one's different. High Endurance Red Zone. The strongest form of wetness protection ever made, just for guys who sweat big. Nothing is stronger. High Endurance Red Zone absorbs in the skin to help stop odor and sweat where it starts. Guaranteed. Or call 1-800-PROVE-IT and Old Spice will buy you a stick of yours. Come on, take a dry run in the Red Zone. Intense protection for intense people.
The State Farm Women's Tip-Off Classic for the benefit of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame is being brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Playtex tampons. They're so comfortable, you can't even feel them.
Welcome back, everyone. I am with Teresa Edwards. You may remember her, one of the best Bulldogs to ever play, Lady Bulldogs. Teresa, 5 Olympics. What can we expect that's going to be next for you?
For me? Oh, God. Hopefully some of everything. I think I'm going to dibble and dab with coaching. I would love to get in sports broadcasting ESPN. And actually, I'm spending my time right now writing a book as I, just deal with the different opportunities as they come.
Talk a little bit about your Georgia team on the court. I think everyone was a little surprised when UConn came out so hard and so quickly on this team. What do you think?
I think Georgia has really downplayed themselves a little in this game. We've fought our way back in it at the moment, but it's a really very good, talented team. I think don't underestimate the talent of these players. I'm very impressed with Thomas. Christy Thomas really playing well as a freshman off the bench. And I think the rest of them are a little shaky right now. And then chemistry and the big girl getting in trouble early didn't help us.
Talk a little bit about Andy Landers. So much has been said about he's a hard coach and he's difficult, and you see him walking up and down the sidelines. But obviously you know him as a coach and as a friend. And what are your thoughts on that?
He's a great guy. My best friend. We have an 18-year relationship. I really cannot allow myself to slip away from his grasp because he's my foundation in the game. He's a great teacher of the game and a good man, and he builds strong character. in his players. And if you're not afraid of being the best, you're not afraid of Andy Landers.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Teresa. And hopefully we'd like to see you play the game again.
Let me retire. Let me retire and rest these old knees of mine.
All right, Beth, we'll take it back to you.
Thank you very much, Leah. Boy, it was a lot of fun watching Teresa Edwards play, and high praise certainly for her coach, Andy Landers.
The most decorated Olympian ever. And talked to her yesterday at practice. She said, my greatest asset in basketball was Andy Landers. And character development, you know, we see him on the sideline with his antics, very intense. We've seen him and heard him get on players, but there's a tremendous loyalty there. And he's more than a coach, folks. He's a teacher of the game, and his relationships with his players go beyond the basketball court.
His former players cannot say enough good things about him and what he has done for them, not only on the basketball court, but off it as well.
Keisha Frett from the Los Angeles Sparks said he tracked her down. They're in the midst of the big series with Houston during the WNBA season. She hadn't given the phone number or location to anyone, and he tracked it down. Just to wish her luck. Keidra Holland-Korn from the Sacramento Monarchs said, I am a complete player on both sides because of Andy Landers.
And this will be Andy's project for the next 4 years, Christy Thomas. And he just raved about the potential that she has, and if she continues to work hard and work on her game, obviously we're seeing today what she's capable of with the double-double. 15 points, 12 rebounds today for Thomas.
There's the player of the three sensational juniors, Williams, Jones, and Cash. Coming in, I thought Asia Jones had the most potential offensively, and you're just waiting for her to explode on that end of the floor.
Jones with 8, Cash with 10, Williams with 10. Abrosimova leading the way today with 17.
You talk about what makes Connecticut great. They certainly have size, speed, athleticism, talent, depth.
And defense.
And defense. But they're also unselfish.
Well, this is a challenge for Gino Auriemma and his staff to keep his team focused and to keep his team interested. There are a lot of occasions throughout the year where they find themselves in front by 30, 40, 50 points that they have to maintain the focus and keep their eyes on the prize at the end of the line, which is the national championship.
Associate head coach Chris Daly has been with Gino the entire time at Connecticut. Has done the bulk of the recruiting work early on. Has turned down an awful lot of offers from major Division I schools to be a head coach.
Shea Ralph comes back into the game. Taurasi with 4 personals. McDonald already gone for Georgia. Tiana Briggs playing with 4. Taurasi has 4. Schumacher has 4. Shea Ralph has 4. Talk about the depth of these two teams. Look at what Connecticut's bench did in the first half. Second half hasn't been as productive. Abrosimova continues to add as Tawana McDonald looks on. A disappointing afternoon following out with not a whole lot of minutes played.
The first game with a backcourt of Wendy Larry from Old Dominion got in foul trouble, never got in the flow. McDonald, similar situation. Foul trouble early, never found a rhythm.
Penn State a winner over ODU in the first game here at the Civic Center, and Connecticut up on Georgia coming up on the 5-minute mark to play. Collision out top, and the whistle will go against the women in white. If that's on Ralph, she's done. Shea Ralph 4 from the floor. The intensity never wavers for a moment.
Final Four MVP, and certainly I think the linchpin leadership-wise on this basketball team.
Ashley Battle will come in to replace Shea. And now Thomas, 15 points, 12 rebounds. Connecticut started out hot, shooting better than 70% for most of the first half. A lot of points in transition, and they have led throughout. Georgia making a late run, but they have not been able to close the lead to under double digits. Bird, 3.
Second in the nation in that category a year ago, percentage-wise. 49%.
Briggins misses the chippy. Battle with the rebound. Bird has it. Composes herself and starts the offense. Tamika Williams. And the foul will go against Briggins. That's her 4th. Senior from Denver, Colorado. So Tamika Williams to the line, 11 points, 5 rebounds. Substitution for Georgia as Coco Miller comes at back end. Keisha Brown goes out. A lot of emphasis today on our discussions in terms of the point guard play. And of course, 2 of the all-time greats joined the head coaching ranks this year. Dawn Staley, the new head coach at Temple. Kim Mulkey-Robertson takes over at Baylor.
Surprise some people. Everybody thought she'd take over for Leon Barmore, but the Baylor administration able to make an offer she could not refuse.
Coco Miller with the bucket. Coco's got 15. Double teaming Swin Cash. And now Bird will reset. Under 4 to play. Swin Cash, the putback won't go. And Tweety Nolan comes down with it. Pass knocked away by the Huskies.
You talked about it, Beth, the fact that they're up significant numbers and the hustle doesn't stop.
Abrosimova, nice move. The dump to Bird for 3. The steal by Battle. Back to Battle. Abrosimova now with 11 assists to go along with her 18 points. Williams. Timeout called by the Georgia Lady Bulldogs. On the wrong end of a 90-67 score right now. And it has been a complete performance on both ends by the UConn Huskies. More basketball coming your way on ESPN2 tomorrow at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. It's the Harlem Globetrotters taking on the Michigan State Spartans from East Lansing, Michigan. They take on the top team from a year ago. John Saunders, Brad Doherty, Michelle Tafoya will be there as the Globetrotters put their 1,269 game win streak on the line. A reminder, these games are for real now. The Globetrotters taking on Michigan State. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. That is one heck of a win streak. 1,200 plus. Connecticut Huskies, preseason ranked #1 in the country, looking to defend their national championship. They won last year in Philadelphia. And they have looked good thus far today.
You know, they look good and they've looked balanced. It'll be interesting to see a minutes comparison at the end of this basketball game to see who has logged the most. But Connecticut has been dominant. 10 Big East titles in the regular season, 9 tournament titles, 4 Final Fours, and they've come away with 2 national championships in those 4 trips.
The 95 title they won in Minneapolis, and then last year in Philly. Georgia looking to get back to the Final Four after falling to Rutgers in the regional final a year ago.
They surprised everybody back in '99 getting there. Everybody thought they were too young, a year away, but able to get there.
Georgia on the break. Brown behind the back, Kelly Miller, and she'll go to the line.
Every once in a while, you get a glimpse of Nolan and what she might have been had those knee injuries not occurred.
Morgan Valley picks up the foul, and Kelly Miller will go to the free throw line. 11 points, 6 assists today. Rebound to Mika Williams. Blocking foul at midcourt. Reminder, too, we got more basketball coming your way on November 24th. The Coaches versus Cancer Championship on ESPN. Georgia will be there, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, and Notre Dame. That comes your way from Madison, Wisconsin. And then December 3rd, it's the Honda Elite Four. Georgia taking on Rutgers, and North Carolina battling Notre Dame. So more women's basketball coming your way in the coming weeks. They're on ESPN and ESPN2.
Georgia's got to rebound quickly from this. They go Massachusetts and then Oklahoma.
The national championship banner from last year for the Huskies starting out.
Oops, Heroes History. This June, the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame will induct the class of 2001, and you're invited. For the real fans of the game, this is a unique opportunity to be a part of history. Reserve your place and get your ticket today. If you can't be at the hall, bring the hall to you with a commemorative fan pack. A collection of induction weekend mementos you won't want to be without. For ticket and commemorative fan pack orders or additional information on the Hall of Fame, call us at 865-633-9000.
I'm a regular guy, but sometimes I can be such a dunce. Like when I go on vacation. I always wonder if I'm paying too much for the rental car. Then I heard about the Dollar Rent-A-Car website at dollar.com. The rates were so good, I couldn't contain my excitement. Saving money was so quick and easy, and wow, my Dollar rental car was right at the airport. Next time, you know where to go.
Life on tour can get completely whacked, so when Eve 6 is on the road and needs to stay sane, they call home with 1-800-COLLECT. It saves at least $1 or $2, so keep it cheap and dial 1-800-COLLECT.
This hour, the weather conditions.
Crazy about seafood? Then you're gonna love Red Lobster. Red Lobster, go overboard.
2 minutes to go at the Hartford Civic Center. Top-ranked Connecticut taking care of third-ranked Georgia this afternoon. They have led throughout, and the State Farm Player of the Game, Svetlana Abrosimova. Almost had the triple-double today.
One of the more dangerous perimeter games. She is an outstanding passer, draws attention on penetration, and finds open people. But in the open floor, almost unstoppable, Beth. You got to respect her ability to score. If you do that and don't pick her up, she's going to dish it off.
A career high with the assist today, talking with Shea Ralph. The kid from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and another one from St. Petersburg, Russia.
And how exciting for Svetlana Abrosimova later in the year when her parents, for the first time on senior night, her last time in Gampton Pavilion, will be able to make the trip and watch her play.
And a point in time where she may become the all-time leading scorer in Connecticut history.
Basketball has shaped her life. She was in class as a youngster, and an official from the Russian Athletic Federation came in and picked her out of class. And since then, she has been a basketball student.
MVP of the European Championships back in 1996 when she was just 17 years old. Played in the Olympics this past summer. Certainly will have an opportunity to play in the WNBA with the much talked about senior class this year, and an abundance of talent around the country, some of which we've seen today, that the WNBA scouts are just chomping at the bit to get a hold of.
And it's not been an easy road for Svetlana. There was some speculation that she would be ostracized and not placed on the Russian Olympic team because of her decision to come to the United States and play collegiate basketball. And it was a gut-wrenching decision. She nonetheless decided to go with it, and the national championship in hand and another one in her near future, perhaps. She's thrilled with the decision.
Morgan Valley completes the three-point play. Battle for the rebound. Marcy Zell is on for Connecticut. Reminder coming up, the 50 Greatest Athletes Series continues, and it is number 50, Chris Evert. That follows basketball here. A Connecticut win, the top-ranked team in the country, starts out 1-0. Earlier today, Penn State with a win in impressive fashion over Old Dominion. As the journey begins for the 2001 National Championship, your exclusive home here on ESPN and ESPN2, the Final Four, the culmination of the trip in March on ESPN. 29 regular season games, 30 postseason games.
Boy, Valley earning some minutes. Has been sharp in her first outing.
Marcy Zell can't finish. The follow is good by Ashley Battle. As the final seconds tick off, Connecticut with the win, 99-70 over third-ranked Georgia.
I think the fashion, the way they did it was surprising. Were they the prohibitive favorites to repeat? Yes, but dominating the number 3 team in the nation. Impressive.
50 greatest athletes coming up next. It's number 50, Chris Evert. I'm Beth Mullins for Doris Burke and Leah Olson. Glad you could join us this afternoon in Hartford. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network.
The following is a special presentation of ESPN Classic.